Hello and welcome to On Your Lane. This is a best ambitious people who are taking charge of their lives, making that income, making that impact, and living fulfilling lives. How are you doing today? Today we're talking about protecting your dream. This idea came from a person who commented on one of my posts on LinkedIn, and they said, wow, you had a dream of being an entrepreneur when you were younger. How did you sustain that dream to a certain point? And I was like, oh, that's a good idea to share. So I decided to do this video to just share my process. Really, it wasn't like a process, but it was something that happened that really enabled me to sustain the dream and get back to it and really become what I envisioned for myself when I was younger. So why am I saying protecting your dream? Because your dream is your assignment. It's like you have been given a mission, right? You're going on earth to do one, two, three. And it comes to you in a dream and you hear it and you decide, okay, I'm gonna do it. Or you decide, you know what, there are other options, I can do that. I think that's a privilege we have. I don't know if we can call it privilege, but most of us have a dream that is contrary to the life we live. Most of us will live to a certain age and look back and be like, I wasted my life. I hope that's not most of us, but most people do. When you speak to people in their retirement, they have a lot of regrets on how they should have lived, what they should have pursued. And most of them had a dream that they never really realized. And that's what we're going to avoid in this place. So we're going to protect our dream. Every time I talk about dreams and protecting them and making sure they come to realization, I think about this guy named Joseph. Joseph at 17 had a vision, like that clear dream of what he was going to be. He was going to be a leader. His family was bowing to him. But you know what happened after that? His brothers hated him for the dream and they sold him and he went into slavery, and then he had a good job which was going well as a supervisor at a prominent person's house, and then that didn't go well because he was sabotaged and lied upon, and then he went to prison. And so I always think that, what was this guy thinking when he was in prison? Because he at 17 had a vision of what his life was going to be. And then I'm thinking at 25 or something like that, that looked far-fetched because 10 years later, he was in a worse place than when he started. But he had a dream. And so everywhere he went, he did amazing work. Everywhere he went, he used his gifts. And you know what happened? At an opportune time, a very unlikely time for him, he woke up in prison, but his dream came true. He woke up a prisoner, went to bed a prime minister, because all that was working against him flipped on that specific day. He kept the dream alive by doing his best in the various spaces, unfortunate circumstances, and everything that was thrown his way. And the dream materialized. I see that as a great example of protecting your dream, because your dream will be tested, poked at, laughed at, whatever, tested, tried, or that. And it is up to you to say, I'm keeping this dream alive and I'll make sure that it comes to fruition and I'll see it come to pass. So the first thing you must do to protect your dream and see it come to pass is believe in your dream. So many of us have these big dreams and we laugh them off. We don't even write them down. We don't even give them that kind of dignity where we're like, this is a dream, I'll write it down. We don't even go online and see similar people who have achieved that and say, I want to learn from them. We don't dignify our dreams because we don't believe in them. We look around our families, we look around our countries and we think, this can't happen. But if you don't believe in your dream, then it won't really happen, because who should come and believe for you? Your dream is your mandate, and it is your job for you to make sure you have cultivated some faith for it. And faith is not something that just magically happens to you. You're like, oh, now I just believe. No, you have to be intentional. If you have a dream, write it down, first of all. As ridiculous as it feels, as crazy as it sounds, don't go around sharing it yet, but write it down. Then get online, Google people who have achieved that. Read about them, their biographies, and see what they did. Who are they? Were they strange people? Were they aliens? Did you have two brains, maybe 14 hands? What I'm trying to say is, when you start dignifying your dream by doing some research on it, you start seeing that your dream is possible. There is nothing new under the sun. So the things that you desire, somebody has done a version of it somewhere. And when you don't believe in it, your job is to cultivate that faith by feeding that dream, by learning from other people who have achieved it, by learning from people who have done great things. How do they do it? Where were they from? And all that. It will show you that your dream is absolutely possible. So you must be the one who believes in your dream first. After you see that you have some faith in your dream, the second thing you should do is feed your dream consistently. Whatever you want to kill, you should starve. If you don't like a plant, if you don't like a human, if you don't like anything, starving it is the slow way to kill it, but it dies eventually. So if you don't water your garden, you see things dying slowly and they will die completely. It's the same thing with habits, it's the same thing with friendships, it's the same thing with anything. If you want something to grow, you must feed it. Now you have this dream, you have written it down, you're seeing it's possible, consistently feed it. How do you feed it? You feed it by getting self-education in that area. And sometimes when we say education, most people think, oh no, I have to get a degree because my dream is this. So many of the dreams we have may not require a degree. Unless your dream is to become a doctor or your dream is to become an engineer and stuff like that, that require qualification. That's a different story. But for most of us, we want to be entrepreneurs, we want to be singers, we want to do this and that. There's so many things that we can do without really the burden of now getting into loans and now applying for schools and thinking, well, I can't achieve my dream because they haven't accepted me yet. No, there's so much you can do that is within your control. So feed that dream, get self-education, get more books, attend courses online even, just to be around people who are dreaming the same way as you, but also on different pathways to the same dream. But for me, my dream is to build a multi-billion-dollar empire. And so when I place myself in courses and programs where people are building at different levels, it allows me to see that it's possible because there's a certain step that I am not at yet. And when I learn from somebody who's just a step ahead from me, it becomes something I can attain, I can learn from and do. So feeding your dream means surrounding yourself, protecting your environment, learning from people. It means learning from podcasts, guarding your mind, feeding your mind the right things so that your dream stays alive. Don't be like Joseph. You know what Joseph did when he had a dream? He told it to everybody, his brothers, and his brothers had bad intentions. They hated him forever, and they're the ones who started trying to sabotage his dream. God was able to use it for good, but sometimes it's unnecessary detours that come from sharing a premature dream to the wrong people. So guard your dream and keep feeding it. Keep feeding it. I'm thinking of a baby in my head. Like if you hide your baby, but you're taking care of it, feeding it, you find that it'll grow into a toddler, it'll become a person, and it'll be an undeniable person. Like that's a grown person, and it can't be hidden anymore. What did you do? You were feeding and caring for it in private when it was really little and vulnerable. You must do that for your dream. The third thing is really related somehow to the previous thing I talked about, but let's highlight it. Guard your company. Get the right environment around you. The wrong people will destroy you the fastest. If you have an intention of sabotaging yourself, get yourself with the wrong company. Because if you're hanging with people who are drinking alcohol and sleeping and playing TV games all day, all night, it will be so normal to you that you will automatically drift into that habit. If you want to sit with people who are making more money and they're solving problems, just sit in their community and hang out with them all the time. You'll find that they talk differently, they see things differently, and you will start normalizing that and you'll start seeing the way they're seeing. The Bible calls it straight. The friend of a wise will become wise. The friend of a fool will be destroyed. Simple. You become like people you hang out with. And you can say, no, I just go hang out in that place. I don't talk about what they talk about. I just listen. You are ruining your vibe within you. You're ruining the energy. You're ruining the vision. You're tainting it with what your environment holds. So your environment can either block or help you propel your dream forward. It's like a seed. If you carry a seed in your hand, no matter how much you pray for it and care for it, it's not going to grow until you put it in the right environment. And that's how you should treat your vision, your dream. The right environment is the people who are around you. You might not be able to change your family if they are the wrong environment, but you can be able to cultivate the right friendships. You can be able to cultivate the right follow groups and whatever online, whatever you are in. You can intentionally put yourself in places where you're being exposed to the level up that you desire. So you must absolutely guard your company because bad company corrupts good morals. The fourth step is don't sleep on your dream. Don't sleep on it. It's a dream, but it'll only materialize when you wake up and take action. Okay, so don't let it stay a dream forever. If that's a dream you've had for 2 years and you have done nothing towards it, that's pitiful. You need to take some small step towards it. Put yourself out there. I met some person whose dream is to help boys. You know how there are so many initiatives for girls, and she feels for boys, and she wanted to do some initiative for boys. And I was like, okay, what are you doing in your neighborhood? She's like, nothing, but I have a dream to do it in this other neighborhood, a big way, in another district, a big way. I was like, you have to start where you are, because you're not going to get to the big district company if you don't really learn from where you are right now, because there are boys where you are, they are also experiencing some disadvantage you're trying to address. And what will help is you trying out a small thing with those ones and seeing how you can then move forward and grow it. Okay, so you might envision that I want to help boys this way, and then you talk to the boys in that area and you think, oh, actually boys don't work that way, or they don't think that way. So it helps for you to not sleep on your dream and to start taking small actions. You want to own a school that educates thousands of people? All right, start a part-time thing where you're just teaching kids for an hour after your job or something like that over the weekend. Do something that allows you to practice. And if you can't start something on your own, it's all right. You can volunteer. There's so many opportunities to volunteer. You can go to schools where they don't even have a volunteer program and say, I want to volunteer here because I want to work with kids. I'll volunteer here over the weekend, or I'll volunteer here because I took a 1 week holiday from work. I'll use it to act on my dream. You're learning, you're doing something, because action will bring clarity and create momentum. So you start seeing more opportunities. You are immersing yourself in a field that you're interested in. So therefore, you start connecting and hearing and understanding things that you wouldn't have understood if you had just sat down and continued dreaming. So take some action, calculated, small, but consistent action. The last thing you should keep doing is persist, pivot, persist. Persist, pivot, persist. What that means is you're taking action, you're growing. So keep moving. Keep moving. Don't say, I'm just taking small action. That's it. No. Small action this year should not be small action next year. You should build up on it. Small steps. Keep moving forward. And as you get new information on what you desire, be free to pivot. Like make some changes. Okay, I wanted to help girls only. Now I'm thinking I should help boys too. Or I wanted to help kids, but now I'm thinking I want to help women. Like be free to pivot. You're experimenting, you're trying, but don't stop. Don't stop moving. Keep moving forward. Make the necessary adjustments and keep moving forward. That's how you protect your dream and it stays alive. The question I had, or the suggestion I had, was somebody saying you had this entrepreneur dream when you were young and now you're living it out. How did you sustain it? Looking back, I see that I never left it. Sometimes I would get so busy or so frustrated in my life, I would run from the dream and just get busy and say, I don't have time to do this. But sometimes when I come back in prayer and quietness, that thing would still come. I would still ask myself that question, what do I want from life? And then sometimes it's so scary, I don't want to answer the question. I run from my own mind and get busy. But I would listen to the right people. I would find myself in the right environments where somebody's talking about purpose, where somebody's talking about being brave and having faith and achieving big things. And so that would still be stimulated and I'll come back to it. So I really can't take credit to say that I just kept the dream alive and kept moving. No, my career took me away from my dream, and my career ran for over 12 years where I was not pursuing the dream. I would have the thought towards my entrepreneurial dream and I'd run from it and move on to other things. But eventually I couldn't shake it off because I got to a place in my life where I kept feeding the dream. I kept listening to the right sermons. I kept listening and being in the right groups, and people were talking a language that stimulated my dream and fed that vision, and it couldn't be ignored anymore. It grew so big, it had to be revealed to my world. And so that's how you keep a dream alive. Ask the right questions, stay on course, keep taking action, keep your environment clean and safe. Pull yourself away from the wrong things and attach yourself to the right things. And before you know it, your dream will be big enough to be believed in by not only yourself now, but others as well. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please like, share, subscribe, and invite your friends and their friends, and everybody should come so that we can grow and achieve big things together. And if you want to go deep with this, then click the link for Zone of Success in the description box. That will help you, show you your potential areas where you could be fruitful and build your dream in. And if you want to get deeper still, then there's a Circle of Greatness link in there, which is a program that helps you design a life that you desire, the life that God envisioned for you. It will open doors for you and help you build a life that is profitable beyond even yourself, a legacy you can be proud of. Check this out. And I am here every Tuesday with a video, and Thursdays I'm on the podcast. Check all those out, and we will up level together. I'll see you next week, right? Okay. Bye bye.